as he drank some water. Aaron Whitlow.
Brandon Spivey did silence. Welcome back to the Markout Movie Podcast. And on today's episode, Aaron, we start off 2024 doing what?
The list. You just made the list. Um, we're
Hmm.
doing the list. We're actually specifically doing our 30 most anticipated films of 2024. Um, it's just going to be a fun little list to see where Brandon is looking at. Yeah, typically what we like, what we think is going to be the best film of the year, ends up not being so good for us, or maybe not. It depends. The year is filled with surprises. So
Yeah, this year. Oh my God. Like,
Brandon
I
said,
wasn't
yeah,
expecting that many films. I was like, oh, I want to see that. I want to see that. But I literally wrote down 66 films that I wanted to see or I thought was interesting. Then I watched some of the trailers, and one of them in particular just blew me away. And it's on my list. It's very low, but I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. And I'm wondering if
okay.
it's on your list. I'm wondering if you even looked at it
Yeah,
because
you know me and trailers. I try not to. Only time I really look at trailers these days is if I go to the movies and
yeah,
I'm just captively sitting there. But if it's something that I really like or it looks interesting, I tend to close my eyes and try not to watch it, try not to listen to it, try my best to kind of avoid it because I like to be surprised. I think trailers, I don't mind little teasers. Teasers is fine, but trailers, I feel like trailers can ruin movies.
well,
Um,
I was just because I was fascinated because usually it's bombarded with superhero films. I was very surprised that there's only one DC film, and I think as far as Marvel Studios, there's only Deadpool 3. The other two are from the Spider Verse from Sony. There's not many comic book films out
mhm.
this year, and that's such a relief, man. I can't tell
Yeah,
you how happy I am about that.
yeah. I'm gonna say I'm looking at my list, and I can honestly say that no comic, almost no comic book movies made my list.
I
So
think two made mine. No, three. Another, yeah, okay, okay. Well, we'll
well,
get to it.
where you ready to start breaking them down?
Yeah, how we doing this?
Uh, with 30, what do you think? Maybe three at a time, or
That's fine.
okay.
You want to go
So
first? You want me to go?
yeah, I go ahead and go first.
Okay. All right.
Number number 30 for me, and I'll give us a little, I'll give a little pause just in case you want to comment on anything. Um, 30 for me, it's a film that is well, it could, I don't know if this is going to be the third film in this series or if this is a straight reboot. Uh, First movie I didn't really care for. Second movie I liked a little bit more. I don't really love the series, but
I thought that's where you were
Strangers,
going.
yeah. Well, Strangers pray at was it Strangers pray at night?
Yeah,
Uh,
that was a
but
sequel. Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was a, it was a more of a fun time for me. I don't like it, the first one is so realistic. I think, and that's what just kind of turned me off on it. Just the idea that because evil is evil, and
Yeah,
they just pure evil.
they
Uh,
are.
but but I don't know. It's just, I'm interested to see what they do with this film. So number 30 for me is Strangers, um, and number 29 for me is Godzilla X Kong.
What? So
Yes.
low.
Well,
But I'm gonna get you some low ones too. But
yeah. Well, for it's low to me because I I did see the trailer for that. Or yeah, and just nothing about it really made me like, oh, I can't wait to see this. Like I think that what Godzilla minus one did, actually it might have ruined the Americanized Godzilla for me because I think they did such a great job. And I feel like this is more bubblegum Godzilla King Kong, which is if you're gonna go for that, just monsters beating up monsters, it's gonna be terrific. But the other one had
That's
so much more of a story to it. But
but I
yeah,
think
that's
but I think that's why people would go for this
mhm.
universe. I mean, you want to see them fight. You want to see monsters fight each other. You want to get rid of the human characters. You just want to see these monsters fight. I mean, that's why it's a popcorn film, Aaron.
Yeah, yeah, and it's gonna be a fun popcorn film, but it's not one that I'm really anticipating. Uh, Number three for me, and then I'll kick it over to you. I guess it's two comic book movies on my list. Blade. I
Oh, is
forget
that coming
Blade is
out?
actually yeah, Blade 20
I
is
didn't see
supposed to
it.
come out with Michelle Ali, Marshall Ali. I cannot pronounce his name. Um, that actor though, I've always enjoyed him ever since uh I think it's 2300, 2400. I forgot the name of the show. It was on
4400.
USA 4400. Yeah, it was on USA years ago. And I thought
Yeah.
he really blew me away in that. I liked him. He was one of my favorite characters in the Luke Cage series. Um, and yeah, I just like him as an actor. So I'm interested to see what he can bring to Blade. Wesley Snipes killed it as Blade,
Yeah.
so I'm curious to see what he brings to this character.
I didn't know it was coming out. I didn't see it on the list anywhere of what I looked up. So, uh, I, I can't say I'm excited for anything that Marvel's really doing,
Mhm.
but I would be interested in seeing Blade. See how they approach that. Number 30 for me, a new little horror film that's coming out pretty soon. Imaginary. I was on the fence about it, and then it's like, well, I did kind of like Megan. And I
Mhm.
do like the concept here. I love the concept of these toys come alive and they kill you. I have loved this concept since we got Chucky in the very first Child's Play. So also, although that was voodoo, but I just love this the bear, man. I just the idea of it, the concept. I really do like that. And James Wan's involved, so that it piques my interest even more.
Mhm.
But I'm looking forward to it. Number 29, also similar concept, but it's called If. John Krasinski's directing it, about an imaginary friend, starring Ryan Reynolds, and I believe Steve Carell is the imaginary friend. It looks just like a really good time for the family, and
Mhm.
I don't know if you even know about it, but
Yeah, I
I
know about it. I haven't watched the trailers though. I just seen the poster for it,
yeah.
and I was really sold on just the poster alone. And I read the quick synopsis. So yeah.
So I just think that's going to be a fun time for a family. And number 28, and I expect
Uh,
a big
real,
explosion with
real,
this one.
real, real quick before you say that,
Mm-hmm.
Mary Tashner Whitlow from Facebook says that she's anticipating Joker and Dune. I just want to kind
Joker and
of
Dune.
yeah, but go ahead.
Number 28, which I expect a massive explosion from you. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Oh wow,
Here's
yes,
the reason.
you're right.
Here's the reason. I did like Afterlife, and I do like the approach to an original story here. I just wasn't wowed by the trailer. Kind of your reasoning for Godzilla. In Kong, I wasn't wowed by the trailer. I am looking forward to the original characters coming back. I don't know. It just didn't wow me. It didn't
Hmm.
really feel like Ghostbusters to me. So, but it's on my list. It made my list. It just
Okay.
I feel like something's missing.
Well, I'm gonna get to it later. I haven't
I
seen
I
none of
figured
these
it would be in
trailers,
your
by the way.
top five. I figured that's in your top five.
Yeah. Number 27
20.
for me. Speaking of John Krasinski, it's A Quiet Place Day One, which um, I'm not sure if he's gonna direct this one.
He's not.
As
He's
oh,
not.
okay. It's that's why it's so like towards the high or I don't know if you say high or low, but it's way up on the list for me because the sequel to Quiet Place I didn't like as much. The first one was a 5-star movie. I thought it
Yeah.
was an excellent film. Second one I didn't like it as much. But the brother, is it the brother of John Krasinski's character? Uh, I think it was his brother,
I
wasn't
think
it?
it's his brother. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been a minute since I've seen it, but yeah,
yeah, I thought that he was very I thought he was really the most compelling part of the movie, honestly. And this one, I don't know what it's going to be about. The way I read the synopsis, uh, I feel like it's a continuation of where we're at. I
it's
don't
how it
want it to be
starts.
a. Is it a prequel?
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's dealing with more people that's dealing with the Quiet Place. I don't know. But yeah, I'd be interested to see where it goes with it. But that's my number 27 is A Quiet Place Day One. Number 26 is Twister. Um, hey,
that's low. That's pretty
yeah,
low.
it's low because uh, you're missing for me one of the key people that you would have in the movie, which is Paxton, obviously because he's passed away.
They
But
don't have anybody in it in the original.
yeah, yeah, but I don't know. It's low because I mean I'm curious to see what it'd be like, but
Hmm.
I don't know if it's gonna really be able to hold up to the original because I think the original was so good with Helen Hunt and
Yeah.
Paxton. Yeah, I just felt like it, and then uh
Oh, the whole
Philip
team was
Seymour
great.
Hoffman. Everybody in that movie, Sean Whalen, everyone in it did an excellent job.
Yeah, I
And so
agree.
I can't see them really unless they make it ultra realistic. I don't know what you'll do, but it's gonna be hard to top the original. And I put it low like that because my dude, rest in peace. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but number 25, and I have seen the trailer for this one. Beekeeper.
Oh, it made your list.
It made my list, but it made low. I think it's gonna be it's one like you said, it's a popcorn film,
Yeah.
where Jason Statham is kicking people in the head and and shooting. It's. I think I would say this about Statham. I feel like every single one of his characters is just a variation of his transporter character, essentially. But he's good at what he does in this with this
Yeah.
type of character, and he's very entertaining with this type of character. So I'll be, and plus Felicia Rashad is in it for a little bit, but yeah, no, I'll be anxious to kind of see her because they did a dirty in Creed 3. But yeah, they're gonna do a dirty in this one too. It looks like. But yeah, anyway.
Um, I, I didn't make my list, but I am. It is probably the one I am more excited to see in January, which is crazy. Because it doesn't look like a typical Statham action movie. I
Right.
mean, it does, but it doesn't. It looks like it's going to be a legit action movie and not
Hmm.
just another Statham project. But it's an interesting choice. It kind of caught me off guard. And here comes one for you, number 27. Love Lies Bleeding. Do you even have any idea what this is?
No.
No. Okay. So it is a new thriller. Stars Kristen Stewart, which I haven't been excited to see her since Underwater. It's also starring Ed Harris and Dave Franco. It's I don't know really what's going on with this other girl. I don't know who she is. She's supposedly in Ant-Man 3. She looks like she may be a She-Hulk or something. I don't really know. But it looks like Dave Franco and Ed Harris have this girl killed, but in certain parts in the trailer, she's transforming into something, and I don't know what it is. It just has my interest. And
And what's it
Chris,
called?
Love Lies Bleeding. It's a weird title, but the trailer was very intriguing. I was like, man, I don't know what's going on. I'm intrigued. And Kristen Stewart's the daughter of Ed Harris, and he's some kind of criminal. The FBI's looking for him. It just has my attention. I don't, like I said, I don't really know what's going on, but
Mhm.
I think that's the beauty part of it, that you really don't know what is really going on. it's just intriguing. Number 26 for me is Alto Knights. It's a mafia film where Robert De Niro plays two characters. So De Niro and mafia, it just goes hand in hand.
It does go to hand in hand, yeah.
So number 25, really low on my list. No trailer for it, but I'm curious because it's Alien Romulus. I don't know the other word, but I'm just curious because it's Alien and it's getting a theatrical release after
It
what
is.
it
Is
is an
that an
Alien
alien
movie.
film? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
after what Ridley Scott did. I don't know the time frame of this movie, so I don't know if it's I don't even know if it's connected to the prequels. It's an Alien film, is all I know, and it's directed by I believe the guy that did the remake of Evil Dead.
Hmm,
So I like him. So I'm curious. I'm curious about a
okay.
new Alien film.
The most current Evil Dead remake, or
Yeah.
okay.
The 2013.
Oh, 2030. Oh, yeah. Okay. His was the best of the Evil Dead remakes, but yeah,
Yeah.
it
I don't know.
is.
I mean, I think so, but
I mean,
I
I like
wasn't.
the other one. I like the other one, but I'm just saying that I'd be excited to see what he does with Alien. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So your go at number 24.
All right. Number 24. Can you hear me still?
I hear you.
Cool, cool. All right. 24 is actually a musical. Wicked Part One. Uh, look, I'm a huge fan of Wizard of Oz. I've
Yeah.
always enjoyed Wizard of Oz. Love Dorothy Gale. I love every character in Wizard of Oz. It's just I grew up as a child watching. Oh man, I'm blanking on the actual Dorothy actress's name right now.
Judy Garland.
Judy Garland. Yeah, I grew up watching her, and one of my first actual crushes was Judy Garland as Dorothy Gale. Honestly, but yeah, just like I'm anxious to see. Uh, I've never seen Wicked the musical or anything, but I'd be interested to see how it crosses over. The most I've seen of Wicked would have been in uh never happily ever after or whatever never in whatever that show that was on like ABC.
Once
Um,
upon a time.
once upon a time, yeah, they had a rendition dealing with Wicked a little
Okay.
bit on there, but I would be curious to see actual full on musical version. That's the only musical that made my list. I had one, but I
Really?
removed it. I removed Mean Girls from my list. Mean Girls was on there, but I took it off for
You
something
took
else.
so Joker 2 is not making your list.
Is it a musical?
Yes. It's
Oh
it's the
wait,
reason it's kind of high for me
yeah,
because I don't know what to
it's on
expect.
my list. Then. It's on my list. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know it was
Uh,
a musical.
yeah. What I say about Wicked, I don't know really much about it. I'm a big fan of Wizard of Oz, just like you. My ex used to have the books of that series, so I don't really know much about it. But what has it's not on my list, but what I am interested in, Jeff Goldblum is playing the wizard, so that makes me interested in the film,
Hmm.
even though I don't really know the dark side of the Wizard of Oz story, but I'm curious nonetheless. I'm surprised that that's on your list. I wasn't
It's on my
expecting it.
list. I'm a Wizard of Oz guy. I love any variation of Wizard of Oz. Honestly, like I mark out so bad for Wizard of Oz. I really do. I love remember the show Tin Man? I thought that was really great.
No,
I like
I never
Return
did
to
see it.
Oz. Return to Oz was interesting take
What
on the Wizard of Oz.
about the last one they did with James Franco?
Uh, I got it. I own it on Blu-ray. I had to revisit it. I think initially I didn't really like it, but I'll be curious to go back to watch it again. Um, but all right, next one on my list is number 23 is The Movie Critic, which is a Quentin Tarantino film.
Is that coming out
Uh,
too?
yeah, from the list I saw, it said it was coming out.
Okay, I didn't
Uh,
see that.
so
Because
I
that would
mean,
obviously make my list if I had known that. I mean,
yeah, I'm curious to know. I don't know anything about it, but it's Quentin Tarantino and it's kind of a movie critic, so I'd be interested to see this movie.
Yeah, me
I think
too.
this is gonna round out Quentin's films because he's wanting to do, I think, 10 total. Is it or
Yeah, that's what he says.
but yeah. So I think this would be his 10th film. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, it will be. This is supposed to. This is going to be billed as his last film. I don't think it will be, but that's how people change their minds.
Yeah, like Ric Flair. But and number 22 for me is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Um,
Wow, that's low.
yeah,
That-
there's other things I'd rather see, but yeah, I like so far. I've liked every single one of these Mad Max
Now,
remakes.
now is it low because he's not in it?
Um, yeah, and I'm not
Okay.
too keen. Like I don't know, it's not going to be as interesting, but I'm still curious, and I
Yeah.
love the cinematography of Mad Max. I love the
Yeah, Fury Road was amazing.
Fury Road is probably one of the best, like apocalyptic type of
Yeah.
this the what's that term that I'm looking for? I was gonna say that diaspora, but it's not the term. But yeah, it's like one of the best like little films dealing with like that type of like it's just it's actually a movie that was better than the original remake. You know what I'm saying? Fury Road is like that movie, so it's fun.
Yeah,
Um,
I do love the original though. That is
hmm
the only like original Mel Gibson trilogy. That was the only one I really liked. I didn't like the two sequels they did after, but I really loved the
yeah,
original. But I agree, Fury Road just blew me away. Like it
hmm
was, I think it's the best Mad Max film. Not that
hmm
I agree that Tom Hardy's the best Mad Max. I don't think he's better than
no, no,
Mel,
no, no, no. He's not
but the
better than Mel.
film itself just is insane. It
I
really
would,
was.
what I would love to see is like Mel still has it in the tank, I think, and I would love to see old man Max, old man Mad Max type of character. You really like it'd be really
I
interesting
mean,
to see his take on the character now at his age. You
if he
know,
can do Lethal Weapon 5, which he's doing, he can probably do another Mad Max film.
yeah.
Realistically.
I would
Um,
love to see it. I haven't abandoned Mel Gibson. I haven't seen a lot of his films at all, but I still fondly remember Mel Gibson and I
um,
really enjoy his stuff. So
Fat Man was great.
I've
About
never
him
seen it.
playing Santa. That
Mhm,
was a lot of fun. That was probably the last true good one I've seen that he starred in. But that was great.
mhm.
24 for me. I know it's gonna get you. Dune Part Two.
Whoa,
I know. I like.
whoa!
Look, I like the first Dune. I thought it was great. It was in my top 10 of the year. I just, I don't really know the story. I don't. It's. See, this is like Star Wars to a lot of people, and Star Wars isn't Star Wars to me. So Dune's not. I'm. I want to see it. I'm not
Tom Lovin,
excited to see it.
Tom Lovin says, I don't know if it's Furiosa he was referring to, but he says that he's looking forward to that one, and he said also Civil War, which we'll talk about that.
Oh yeah, it's on my list.
Uh,
It's
it's
later.
on my list too.
It
But yeah,
comes later. But yeah, I want to see Dune Part Two. I'm excited.
hmm
Austin Butler's gonna be in it. Dave Bautista's gonna have a bigger role. A lot of people are in this movie. I don't know. I don't know. I want to see it though. Also,
yeah. I mean, I really liked the first one. I thought that they did a really good job. I'm not a huge Timothy Chalamet. Chalamet.
I liked him
I
in
don't know.
Dune.
Yeah, I liked him in Bones and All. I thought he was really good in that
Uh,
movie.
I hadn't seen
Uh,
that one.
but in Dune he was good. And I didn't see Wonka, so I don't know how he did as Willy Wonka.
I
But
heard it was. I actually have heard mixed things. I heard my friend Tiffany said it was really good, but other people said it was really bad. I don't. I'm gonna go with what Tiffany said. she's a
Yeah, I
massive
would say,
fan.
yeah, I
So
say that he can't do no worse than Johnny Depp did as Wonka. But
she
anyway,
agrees with you on
uh,
that because she was talking about how bad Johnny was. I hadn't seen it. I've only seen the original. So
you never seen John? Oh, I
no,
can't wait to
Chocolate
see you.
Factory. No, no, I had no interest.
Yeah,
I had no
yeah,
interest. But up next, 23 for
yeah.
me is an Austin Butler movie. I'm a Austin guy
You're
now.
you're 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 a Butler man. You're a
I am.
Butler
I
man.
am. It's his movie with him and Tom Hardy in the Bike Riders. It reminds me of that Marlon Brando movie that came out like in the 60s.
Uh, uh,
It
um,
may be a remake of
the
that.
Easy Riders. I think it's
Yeah,
called Easy
it
Rider.
kind of looks similar to that kind of story. Uh, I, he kind of sounds like Elvis though, so they just it's just maybe he's stuck with
But
that voice. I don't know,
yeah,
but
he's got to lean into it.
but yeah, and
Uh,
I'm curious to watch that one. And number 22 is a video game adaptation of Borderlands. I'm
is a
interested.
video there.
Yeah, it's based on a video game. I'm very interested in that. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. Jack Black's in it. Kevin Hart. It's got a big cast. So my only concern though is the director, Eli Roth.
I'm wr- I'm wrong on. Oh goodness, a Marlon Brando. I'm trying to find the Marlon Brando
Was it not
biker
easy?
movie.
Was it not
It's
in
not
that
Easy
one?
Rider. It's the Wild one.
Okay.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I knew I didn't want to get slain in the comments. But but yeah, I don't like Eli Roth. I'm gonna be honest. Although Thanksgiving was fun. Thanksgiving was the the Eli Roth movie I liked. I
The
say the Eli Roth movie. I didn't like Cabin Fever. I did not like Green Inferno. I thought
Hostel.
Hostel. I don't like Hostel. Hostel was his most put together film, but
Oh, that's another one you
I
like. Death
which
Wish
one?
remake. You like that
Oh
one?
yeah, that one. Yeah, I forget that's his. Like he fumbles the ball in his endings. He fumbles the ball, and that's what I don't like about his movies. I think that he does okay, but then like somewhere he's like, "I'm sleepy." Here, this is how it ends with a joke or some stupid dream sequence. So stupid. Eli Roth, if you can just stick the landings in your stuff, that'd be great. I'm getting off my soapbox. Uh, but what
Wow.
was that yours?
Yeah, you pick back up at number 21.
21 is don't mark out. Knives Out 3. Uh,
Forgot it was even coming. Not even on my list.
Knives Out 3.
Wow.
Uh, like I literally said, I literally said this recently that Knives Out is my favorite Who Done It
Yeah.
series. If you're like Clue, the original Clue movie was great, but this series so far has created really interesting characters,
I agree.
uh,
I agree.
and just it's fun, and I love guessing and seeing, So I'm interested to see where they go with the Knives Out series. Um, Number 20 for me. Uh, I'm curious about it. I'm really curious about it. Gladiator 2. I don't know if it's really coming out, if it's happening or not. I
It's
know they've been
happening.
talking about it for years. Um, but the original is Russell returning?
Nope.
Okay.
I'll talk
So
about it later. It's on my
okay.
list.
All right. Well, I hadn't watched anything or learned anything about it, but I seen the poster, and I was like, I'm interested to see Gladiator 2. I love the first Gladiator. That movie is the first time I've seen. It's not the first time I've seen Joaquin Phoenix. First time I've seen Joaquin Phoenix was Parenthood. He might have even been in The Wiz. I think he might have been in The Wizard. I mean, not Wiz, The Wizard. Um, I think it was him. But anyway, I might be wrong on that. But anyway, uh, but the first movie, Joaquin Phoenix was so good
He was.
as this villain that to this day I can't help but to hate him as a because he did it. He played that role so well. and I feel the same way about Josh Hartnett in the movie where he is a villain, and he played it so well that it just at this point in my life, I just can't ever not see him as a good guy because he just gets on my nerves. Because of, he did a great job. It's his fault. He shouldn't have did it so well. Uh, but yeah, uh, so Gladiator 2 is my 20, and then one more, right? And then
Yep.
back to you.
Yep.
This synopsis sounded good and the poster looked cool, so I'd be curious to see how it is. The Fall Guy
Oh
is my
yeah.
number 20.
Yeah, it's on my list
It
too.
it looks fun from what I hear about it, what I read about it, and what I seen is in the movie. It just makes me like I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see it. It's a stuntman. It's I think it's gonna be great. I love it. I
I
love
do
that. I
too.
love the concept.
Yep, I do too. It's on my list. It's a little higher on my list, but nonetheless, number 21 for me, a comic book movie that I actually forgot was coming out, and I forgot that I wrote it down. So you gotta ask yourself, am I really that excited for it? I am, but I just kind of forgot. Venom 3, like,
I didn't know it's coming out. Really?
yeah, it was on the list anyway, coming out later in 2024. So I didn't look at who the cast was. I just know it's Tom Hardy as Venom. Uh, I'm expecting Andrew Garfield to show up as Spider-Man. This is the time. These two
Yeah.
characters, it's time. You got your third Venom movie. It's time to introduce Venom to Spider-Man. You've been
Yeah.
setting it up all through the movies. It's time to set that up. So I'm interested to
Tom
see
Hardy
this.
has killed it as Eddie Brock. He's
Yeah,
really and
he's really
Venom.
good.
Venom has been so interesting to have like a something that's with you. That
Yeah.
pretty much you bounce off of or whatever. It's good.
I mean, I liked the sequel, but I was disappointed we didn't get enough of Carnage,
Hmm.
and I was disappointed they killed Carnage or killed Woody, and I was just I thought he should have lived. But anyway, I
Hmm.
digress. Number 20 for me, I was high on this movie when it came out. It's a sequel, Smile 2. The only
I,
thing though,
I didn't know it's a thing. I didn't know it's
yeah,
happening.
yeah. What did you look at, Aaron?
Google, bro. Google. That site that you sent me. I think maybe even IMDb a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to come out like I think in October.
Hmm.
Um, I'm curious about it. I'm curious to see where they go more than anything with how it
Hmm.
ended, But I'm like, well, they killed off the main girl.
Killed off bacon. Killed off
Yeah,
bacon.
so and I really liked her in that movie. But I love the ending. I know you didn't really care much for it. I know a lot of people thought it was
Yeah.
ridiculous, but I actually loved that ending.
The movie has now grown on me a little bit more, and I see how smart of a horror movie it was. So I've come to be fond of the film, whereas at first I was like, I don't know, because I thought I compared everything honestly to It Follows,
Yeah,
because to me It Follows did it so well that I feel like everything that tries to be like that is like a carbon copy of It Follows. But Smile did it well, and I'll be curious to see where it goes.
and number 19 for me. I know this is probably not on your list. You're probably gonna grunt or something when I say it. Mufasa, the Lion King.
It's not on my
It,
list. Yeah,
I didn't think it would be because you hated the remake, the live
is
action
this is
version.
this a live action one as
Yeah,
well?
yeah. It's a
Yeah.
prequel
Oh,
about Mufasa becoming the Lion King. I'm interested more because of the interactions and what really caused a rift between him and Scar. I want to know that story, and I'd be curious to see. Hopefully, it's done well. I
hmm.
think it's got great potential because it's an original story. They don't have to copy anything. They can be creative with what they want to do. So I actually think it's going to be much better than the live action remake. But that's my number 19.
Hey, is Joker?
Ha ha ha. We got the number. We got the same number 18.
Done. Joker, Foley, Dokes.
Just say
So I
two.
don't know.
Just say two.
Two. Yeah. Joker two.
Joke two.
Uh, yeah, I think that Joaquin did an excellent job in the first one.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm curious to see where they go with this one. Like you said, it's a musical. I didn't know that, so I'm
Yeah.
more even more interested to see see because him being an unreliable narrator, uh, it's interesting because you don't know what's real and what's not real.
You don't.
Uh, and I love that about Joker. So I'll be curious to see where they go with this. And I think is Lady Gaga Harley Quinn in this?
Yeah.
That I don't know how I feel about it because I'm not huge on Lady Gaga as an actress. Uh, but yeah. Anyway, number 17 is a remake of I think it's an 80s or 90s horror movie, Witchboard. Uh, I remember Witchboard when I was younger. Vaguely, I remember. I remember some things in it, but I think it'd be really cool to see. Uh, uh, that's what I like about some remakes. Remake something that might not have been huge or might not even really been that great and make it better. I like that idea,
Yeah.
and I like that somebody's pulling from a different type of film to remake instead of just the ones that we always see them trying to remake. So I'm interested to see what they do with Witchboard. And then 16, and I said all that, and then I say this. Number 16 for me is the first Omen, but that's okay because I think the last Omen remake they did was pretty terrible. And I think that it's okay to try it again and modernize it and
Mm.
hopefully make it a better film. If this is related to the other Omen films, I hear Omen, I immediately think Omen. So I think it is, but I'm not sure. I don't know anything really about it.
I knew I didn't. I saw the trailer. I passed on it. This was like right after I watched The Exorcist Believer. I was like, no, I don't. I don't need another. I don't need another one of those. I'm good. So I didn't watch the trailer. I just kind of I saw that it was coming, but I just kind of passed on it. Just Exorcist left a bad taste in my mouth for those type of remakes and or reboots or whatever they're doing. Well, actually that was a sequel, but yeah. But anyway, yeah. I hope it.
Matthew Matthew's looking forward to Ghostbusters. I can't see what else he wrote. I don't know. Rafiki, he mentioned Rafiki, so I guess he agrees with me.
Rahu, Rahu.
Rafiki, Rafiki from Lion King. That's the monkey
Oh, okay, okay. I
or
thought you were talking
baboon.
about
I don't know what Rafiki is. I think
no.
he's a.
That would Babu would be from Aladdin, I believe.
I said baboon.
Oh,
Baboon.
I thought you said Babu.
No.
A lot of confusion from Matthew.
I'm sorry.
We don't know.
Continue, dude.
Number 18 for me, as you pointed out, was your number 18, Joker 2. And I know a lot of people that know me are going to be like, wait a minute, Joker's your guy. He
Mhm.
is. But I also feel this is an unnecessary sequel.
I agree.
And when they came out with it was going to be a musical and Lady Gaga was going to be Harley Quinn, I immediately shut up my brain off and my interest died. And I think Joaquin's going to be great again, but I'm not as excited about it as I would have been if it had been a straight up sequel.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. It is just it's really low on my list, and Joker is my favorite comic book characters, but I just think it's unnecessary. Number 17. This almost didn't even make my list, and I was going back and forth on it. It's the third movie in the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Jim's not coming back,
Yeah, it bounced on and off my list.
but I was
Yeah,
like, I really do like the character of Sonic, and I love the team up with him and Tails, and their Knuckles is coming. I mean, and I just this past weekend I was playing Sonic Superstars with Dawson, and I was like, you know what? I'm
Is
kind of
what's name coming back too? Um,
James. Don't James? Yeah,
James
he's coming
Marsden.
back. Yeah, and Idris is I think I said his name right. Probably not. Is playing
Idris Elba.
Knuckles.
You
Yeah.
you said it right.
All right.
Uh,
He's playing Knuckles. So
real quick, segue. Real quick segue.
okay.
So you dealt with you seen James Marsden in the show. How did you feel about him in it? You thought it was great. Thought,
For people that do not know what he's talking about, he's talking about Jury Duty, which is a Freevee, I believe, original
mhm.
series. I thought he was pretty funny. I love the fact that no one really knows him though. It's like, oh yeah, you were in Sonic. That movie sucked. you know. Then he rewatched it. So I was actually pretty good. You're the guy from The Notebook. And I love what James says, and later on in the
Yeah.
show, I'm the guy from The Notebook, but I'm not even the guy, And I'm like, you're right. I forgot he was even in The Notebook. I forgot most of Sex
Mhm.
Drive. I didn't remember him in that. I was like, all I really can think of when I think of James Marsden is X Men. I like the guy though.
Yeah, literally, that's all I remember is really X Men, and yeah,
That's what stands
but
out, and how they didn't do his character justice.
they killed him off dirty. They did him
Yeah,
dirty.
and I don't know. That's just imprinted in my brain. That's James Marsden's, you know, that's the reason he's famous because of that
Yeah,
role.
yeah,
But I
you,
liked him in this though.
yeah.
He
I
should
just
do
wanted
more
to know your.
comedy. Actually, he
I
should.
agree with you. I thought he was really good in it, and it gave me a lot of the Office feel in watching
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I have to agree with that. It did feel like another kind of office like show.
Yeah,
Uh, I, I'm I'm kind of torn about that aspect, but by the end, I love how
the
they
reveal
presented it.
without letting people know.
I ain't
No
gonna,
spoilers.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil
but
it. I
but
like how it was presented. There's a reason for the way it is. I like that.
yeah.
Okay, so back to number 16. This is a spinoff to John Wick called Ballerina. I
Oh, I
don't.
think it's on my list.
Yeah, I it's kind of low on my list, but I don't know what to expect. I haven't seen the Continental, so I don't really know what to expect without a heavy load of John Wick.
I took it
Um,
off. I took it off my
took it off.
list. I had it. Yeah.
I like the girl though that's playing the main character. Keanu Reeves is going to appear, so I'm like, is this between John Wick 1 and 2? Because it can't be between John Wick 2 and 3.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I'm curious to see what they do with a film that's not loaded with Keanu as John
Yeah.
Wick. Even though he appears, I think that's to help the movie more than anything, give him like a glorified cameo. But I'm curious to see what they do with it. I'm curious about the world itself. So,
Okay.
but it has a few people in it that's from the John Wick films. I think Emmett Shane is back as Winston. So I'm really curious about it. All right,
All
you go.
right.
Number
All
15.
right. Number 15 for me is it was already mentioned in the comments. Civil War. Um, the this movie that's coming out. Um, I think that it seems like a very interesting concept. Um, and I think that like the poster has like the torch from the Statue of Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it looks like it's gonna be uh, it has a really good cast. Kirsten Dunst, Jesse Plemons, which I love Jesse Plemons, and then Nick Offerman's in it as
Yes,
well.
Nick.
My dude Nick. You know what's funny, man? Me and Jackie was watching 21 and 22 Jump Street, and I totally forgot that he was in those movies. And so when I seen him, I marked out. I was like Nick Offerman. But yeah, but yeah, I think that it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a uh, good time at the movies.
Yeah, I do. I do too.
Number 14 for me is uh, I I took Mean Girls off my list for this movie because I did see the trailer for it because it just came up on my little timeline, my feed,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, let me watch this, and I'm like, oh, because I love what it looked like. Garfield. Garfield is my number 14. I
I
love
wanted
that.
it to be on my list, but
Yeah, I love the animation style that they're doing with it. I'm a mark for a good animation, man. If they do like if they make it look different, uh, this one has it's not as different as say Spider-Man or the Turtles film or even what is it, the Millers versus the Machine,
Mitchell's.
Mitchell's versus the Machine. It's not, it doesn't have that much of a difference, but I
Yeah,
think that it looks more of a, it looks very uh Pixar in the sense of
yeah,
like it's just like very I think that it's also a good idea that they went fully animated, like computer
yeah.
animated with Garfield versus like live action one. Um, so yeah, I'm curious to see about it, man.
I want to say one thing
Yeah,
about Garfield, because there's a lot of people are hating on it for the same reason they were hating on the Super Mario Brothers movie. Chris Pratt is voicing Garfield. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it because everybody knows he proved everybody wrong with Mario.
but listen, I'm gonna say this. I like Chris Pratt.
I do
I
too.
I like him. I've yet to see really a film that hadn't liked him in, um, and or show for that matter. Now I hadn't seen the one that's on Prime. I've never seen that show. Uh, I did see that one movie they made where he's going into the past or future or something like that. Um, but I think Chris. Um, now only one movie I say that I didn't really care for was Buzzier. Uh, but it's not because of him. There's other reasons I didn't really like that movie. Um, but uh, but I think that he did an excellent job as Mario. He wasn't distracting as Mario, and for me, that's like on my list of one of the top animated films of the year, is Super Mario Brothers. And I thought that he made it enjoyable.
Yeah,
Uh, and and uh, and I think it doesn't distract me that he does the voice of Garfield. I think people, I'm gonna say this: people, leave this man alone. Leave him alone. Leave the guy alone, man. There's so many other things in this world to uh, get pitchforks out for. Uh, Let's stop trafficking. Let's stop that. Get pitchforks for that. Get pitchforks for all this other censorship stuff that we don't, do that,
yeah,
but not for this guy that's just doing a character. Stop. You don't own Garfield. You don't own Mario. I don't own Michael Myers or anything like that. You don't own Voorhees. There's
no,
nothing.
I sure
So
don't.
so yeah.
If I did,
So
I wouldn't have put him in hell.
there you go. There you go. But yeah, I would just say that people. I feel this me on my little soapbox. Just leave Chris Pratt alone. Leave the man alone.
yeah,
Man, I like him. Leave him alone.
I think the internet they go way overboard with this stuff with voicing people. I don't know. They feel like they just go after him though a lot, and I'm
Hmm.
not sure why.
I think it's more of a bias to go after him. He mentions faith, things like that. You know, just people. This stop being idiots. I'm gonna say this: stop being marks. In real life marks. Don't be a real life mark. But okay.
All right, what's your number 13?
Oh yeah, my bad, bro. Number 13. Uh, hey, it looks interesting. I didn't see the trailer once again, but just the poster for it, and I hope that's what they're doing with it. Transformers One, an animated Transformers movie.
Yeah,
I think it's a good idea to kind of go back to its roots in the sense of, because the first Transformer movie was an animated movie, and the last Transformer movie, the one that came out last year, I
yeah,
didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was fun, a little kickback to the '90s,
yeah.
but and it set up, like you said, set up like a GI Joe type of crossover.
Crossover. Yeah, yeah,
But I think that this movie, being like a animated movie, you could do a lot more with, and if you can make the animation look really great, it might be one of the best movies of the year.
yeah. I think honestly, I think it will be. I didn't put any animated movies on my list, and I had 5 written down originally. So this was one of them.
What
It
were
just
the four?
Garfield was one. Despicable Me 4, Kung Fu Panda 4. What was the other one? It was a sequel to something.
So you would have Steve would have made your list twice then
Yeah,
with okay.
yeah. It was. I can't remember the other one. But yeah, it was. I want to see all of them, but I was just like, man, so much is really coming out, and it's an incredible year. It really is.
Hmm.
So I guess I speaking of Transformers, I do agree with you. I think they should go back to animation. Not that the live action series. I think it's getting legs again, but it's not
Hmm.
making the money the Michael Bay films made because people soured on that franchise because of him. But I think this is a good time to reintroduce a real Transformers movie in animation. I think it's the perfect time to get people back on board with
I think
Transformers.
people I think people are so I think you know how I think that we're in an era now where we're starting to see where people are starting to see with these type of products, these movies, that hey, they can have life in animated form. Like
Yeah,
people probably thought a Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse wasn't going to be as, but it shocked people, and it
yeah,
was a great film. And then Super Mario Brother was a movie uh, that people was like, oh, I don't know, but that movie was well done.
yeah.
It looked visually great, I've now seen that movie. I think 2 to 3 times now since since in
It's big
theaters.
for you because you don't like to
Yeah,
revisit.
yeah. Which with the kids and stuff here,
Yeah,
sometimes we like turn it on and just something, and I still catch stuff. I'm looking at them like, oh yeah, look at there. Just like it's nostalgic, but yeah, I agree with you.
yeah. Number 15 for me, you already mentioned it. The Fall Guy. I think that's just going to be a lot of fun. It's based off the TV show that I never seen. But Ryan Gosling. I, I'm I'm a Ryan guy, and it's not just because of Barbie. Like I loved him in the Nice Guys with Russell Crowe. I've
Mhm.
liked him in the Gangster Squad. I've liked him in a lot of stuff. But I think he really is funny. I think he's got great comedic timing. And I'm really interested. This looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I, I'm really looking forward to it. Number 14 for me, you already mentioned it, Civil War. It reminds me of a video game that came out like in like the mid 2000s, but I also
It's
kind of
funny. It's funny how close we were in our ranking with that, by the way.
yeah. I When I saw Nick Offerman, I was like, oh, Ron Swanson's the president. This worked out great. But no, I mean, all jokes aside, this movie looks like it's going to be a big film. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in it. I'm interested. I'm interested to see how it gets to that point. Also, the war itself. Like, I feel like this could be like a franchise if
Hmm.
it's set up that way. But I'm looking forward to it, no doubt. Number 13 for me. Almost didn't know this was coming. I kind of forgot about it. Maxine. It is supposed to hit
Oh,
theaters in 2024, and you know how big of a fan I am of X and Pearl. So
so from my expression, clearly I forgot to put it on my list. I didn't even know it was coming. I totally forgot. Oh
yeah, I
man.
saw it last night. I was like, oh, let me look and see when this is coming, and it says at some point in 2024. So it's like, well, that's got to make my list. I mean, that's
Mm.
that's that's, that's just a huge film for me. Obviously, I
Yeah,
believe it can go more than 3 films if they want it to, but if this is the end, I expect it to be the most crazy experience of the whole trilogy, and which has been nonstop crazy.
yeah. Maya Golf, like as you know, I love Pearl. I thought Pearl was like that year was one of was part of my top 5 films, I believe. Um, it
Yeah,
might
it
have
was.
even been my number one. It was like really is up there. I thought Pearl was. I thought she was robbed. I thought Academy Award wise, like
Yeah,
they don't look at horror, but she did such a her
she did.
performance was so great. That once where she was explaining her story to a friend and just stuck on her. And you're like, oh, I'm thinking, girl, if you don't get up out of the house, you need to run. But yeah, man, I thought Pearl was excellent. Um, so I'm curious to see what my golf does with Maxine, which is like literally pick. It should be picking up from from X, right?
Yeah, it's
Like
gonna pick up. 'Cause that was like in the late '70s. This is gonna be like
the '80s.
it's the '80s. I'm just not sure if it's like mid '80s or. But she went to Hollywood. She's and I love that aspect of it. That's the connection. They want to be a big Hollywood star.
Hmm.
So I love that connection. All three films. So I'm curious to see how it all plays out.
All right. Let's see. Um, give me a moment.
Okay.
All right. So my number, what number are we?
12. 12.
My number 12 is what I guess you say it is a remake. Roadhouse.
It, wow. Surprised.
Yeah, I like Jake Gyllenhaal. So I'd be curious to see. I don't know if I really buy. I don't know if I. Patrick Swayze, so believable in that movie.
It was.
The original film was just so gritty uh, and I just man, but I love to see what they do with this film. And Jake Gyllenhaal Jake Gyllenhaal is an excellent actor, so I love to see him be intense. I guess he can be intense because he was intense in Ambulance. So I can see him be that type of guy uh,
Mhm.
that is here to clean up this bar type of thing. But yeah, I would love to see it. So number 12 for me is Roadhouse. Number 11 for me is the American Society of Magical Negroes.
I, I'm at a loss for words. I didn't know that was a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. It's it has let me get it. Let me hold up. It has magical Negro movie.
Oh my god.
All right. Um, it stars the cast is Justice Smith, uh, which you might know him. He was in the D&D film. He
Yeah.
was also in the Pikachu
Pikachu.
detective. Yeah. Um, I can't know. I don't know, but David Allen Greer is in it. Um, and you know, there's some other people.
Is this
I'm
a
not saying
serious film or is this a comedy?
it's a comedy.
Okay.
Uh,
I thought it
a
was a
young
serious film at first. That's like, oh, okay,
it's
okay, maybe.
it's a young man gets recruited into a secret society of magical black people who's dedicated their lives to making white people's lives easier. So it's gonna be a fun
What?
movie. It's a movie. It's coming out. The American Society of Magical Negroes.
Oh
Um,
my lord.
so So, if for those that don't know, the concept of the magical Negro uh, is uh, is a trope in movies. If you think about the Green Mile, that character John Coffey is a magical Negro that came to help ease the white people's burdens in life. Think about the Legend of Bagger Vance with Will Smith. Think about even isn't it one of the Annabelle movies? There's a lady that literally came in. Her whole thing was just to kind of save the white people. There was a like she sacrificed herself so the white people could live. And so it's that's a trope in it has been a trope in movies for centuries, and uh and so this movie is kind of poking fun at that trope. So I'm curious to see it, and I invite you to watch it with me. Uh, But yeah, and then number 10 for me is Night Swim. Uh, I like the trailer for it. The little teaser trailer. It's the only one I've really seen. It's Bloomhouse. I think it's Bloomhouse. Is it Bloomhouse
It's
or is
either
it
them
James
or
Wan?
A24. I
think,
want to go with this Bloomhouse, but
yeah. But it looks like it's gonna be a I don't know. I'm curious. I'm just curious. So that's all I know about it. I just seen the Marco Polo stuff. But I'm curious to see how you can make a movie out of this movie, out of this concept. Who like I would just not go in the pool if it's taking people. Why not go? Why just leave it alone? Don't swim at night. Just things like that. But okay. But that's where I have common sense and these movie people don't. All right. That's my number 10. Go for it.
that's your number 10. Okay, okay, okay. Number 12 for me, Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. Um, I
Oh,
have
I
been
forgot about
looking.
that.
I
It's
have
not
been
on my list.
looking. I have been looking forward to this since it was announced, but with the recent Eddie Murphy movies, I was very concerned. But the trailer, I feel, saved it for me. At least my initial reaction, it saved it. I'm now back to being excited. I really hope it delivers. I hope this is a swan song for Eddie, and with this character, because I don't expect any more after this,
Is it
especially with what
R or PG-13? Do you know?
I don't think they've given a rating yet. So I would imagine R. Uh, Haven't they all been R? Or was the third one not?
Third one might not have been. I'm not remember. Like I literally, you know what? It'd be fun before the movie comes out for us to revisit the original trilogy. Yeah, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, it's got all the original characters returning that's able to return. So it looks like it's going to be a fun action movie, But I want to see Eddie as Atzel again. I really did. I hope he does the laugh. Hope there's a banana joke. I mean, I really hope it's truly a swan song to this franchise. But anyway, number 11. You mentioned it. This is kind of high on my list. It's not my top 10, but it is a quiet place day one. I'm really curious to see how these creatures came to Earth, how it really started. And
Mhm.
um, that's all you really need to know. You know what the quiet place is. You don't really need to go in detail about that. I just want to see how it started, and
Mhm.
that's day one. So it's going to show us how it starts. And number 10 for me, you mentioned it earlier. Now it's Gladiator 2, and the reason it's not higher for me is because there will be no Maximus, and I'm more curious about this than anything. But when they added Denzel, I was like, okay, this must be pretty good to get Denzel.
To get Denzel. Yeah, I didn't even know Denzel was in it. So
Yeah.
that would actually have moved it way even further up, like top 10 on my list if I knew
Yeah.
that. I didn't know that. I, I'm curious. I'm way curious. I love to
Yeah.
see Denzel in this movie.
Yeah. I'm like, do I think it's going to top the original? No. But I'm curious to see a sequel this many years later and whatever kind of story they're telling. But the fact they got Denzel gives me high hopes that this is going to be close to the original.
Hmm.
Let's see. It was 11, 10. Okay. Number 9. Are we at
No,
9? No, no,
no,
no,
no,
no, no,
no,
no.
no.
Okay. 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 We're here
Was
9.
that 10 for you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Number 9 for me. You already mentioned it before. It is If.
Oh, it's
Uh,
very high on your list.
yeah, yeah, because I don't know. I've been going back and rewatching The Office, and so Steve Carell
Yeah.
is now like really prominent in my brain right now, and I love to see him again, and I love to see him in this type of movie.
Yeah.
I think that it'd be interesting to see uh, this concept, and then Ryan Reynolds, right,
Yeah.
uh, is in it as well. Which Ryan is naturally a funny, a satirical type of actor, and so it'd be funny to see
Well,
that.
in the trailer at least, it looks like he's going to be playing it serious. Almost. Not your
Yeah.
typical Ryan Reynolds.
Well, I'd be curious to see how he does because the last time he did that was Amityville Horror. And it didn't turn out too well. So
That wasn't a family film.
this is true,
uh,
or was it? No, but Uh,
Wow.
but anyway, that's my number nine. Number eight for me would be Imaginary. Um,
Wow, that's high up there too.
yeah. The idea that Megan surprised me so much.
Yeah.
And so just the idea that this bear is kind of telling, doing things as an evil bear. I tried not to even watch the trailer because I was like, okay, this is interesting me. So I kind of closed my eyes and kind of looked away and tried not to pay attention to it because I'm like, I'm interested to see where this goes. So it 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 sparked my imagination, if so to speak. So but number seven for me, Deadpool 3.
Hmm.
Um,
Number seven.
Yeah, number seven is Deadpool 3. It probably would have been a lot higher had had it not been such a gap between the films. I might be more anticipating it, but I'm interested to see him and Hugh Jackman, you know,
Yeah.
in doing like being Wolverine and Deadpool together. I think it's gonna be I, I, it's like so. I guess there was like three comic book movies on my list. But yeah, I'd be interested to see how they do with this rated R type of. Well, we've seen rated R Wolverine with Logan, but I think it'd be kind of cool to see
Oh, is
a
it officially
comedic.
rated R?
I would hope so.
Well, since
I
it's
don't know.
Marvel, I didn't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if even if it's not, I think it'd be a PG-13 that allows for some because even Guardians was able to get out one expletive. You
Yeah.
know, they had that one bomb to use and they used it. So, but all right, next your turn, bub.
All right, number nine, keeping where you left off, Deadpool 3. The reason it's high, like it's a top 10 film. I believe it's going to be a top 10 film. The reason it's not in my top five is because Marvel's controlling this. This is the one project I felt comfortable that Fox knew what they were doing. Ryan
Hmm.
Reynolds was kind of leading the ship there, and I just don't know how much control he has now. And I do love the idea of bringing Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, and those two. I that's that's a must see type film.
Hmm.
But you don't bring back Cable, even though he's going to get mentioned in the story. You don't bring him back, so it's just I don't know. I'm more concerned because of Marvel and what they've done lately.
Hmm.
Not now. Guardians was great, but the other films like I haven't heard good things about the Marvels. I didn't go see it. Didn't have a desire to.
Never
Ant
seen it to this day.
Ant-Man 3 wasn't the greatest. The last Thor movie wasn't the greatest. It's just I've lost confidence in Marvel Studios, which
Only
I
thing they
never
did
thought.
great is Loki. Loki season 2. That's literally the last thing they did great.
Which I never thought I would say about Marvel. I thought they couldn't be stopped, but they got in their own way. And but I am curious to see how this plays out. I hope it's great. I hope it lives up to all the hype with him and Hugh Jackman together, because that's been talked about for like a decade. Deadpool and Wolverine, but
Uh, I want to. Speaking of Marvel and the Mouse,
oh
so
boy,
Disney. You know where I'm going, right?
I know where you're
So,
going.
so Disney lost Steamboat Willie, the that rendition of Mickey, the early rendition of Mickey, and also well, uh, so Oswald, the rabbit, I think, or whatever that character is, um, they lost that as well. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on the fact that there someone is doing that's two horror films of Mickey Mouse coming out. Uh,
Yeah, I saw the trailer to the Mickey Mouse one. I was like, "Oh, this is Winnie the Pooh all over again."
yeah,
It
yeah.
looks just as bad. If I watch it, I guarantee it's the worst movie of 2024.
Is it the Mousetrap? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
The Mickey Mouse.
Mickey
Now,
Mouse's Trap or something like that.
yeah, but I think the Steamboat Willie one, the one that's literally Steamboat Willie, it'll be interesting to see. uh, if it's done right. Like you can literally do like uh, a 3D rendered 2D type of look of that mouse in the real world. I might be giving somebody an idea, but doing it in the real world and it stabbing people and things like that, kind of like a tune coming to life type of thing, and it'd be interesting if you did it that way. But yeah, okay. I just want to get your take on it. What else? What else you have?
Number 8 for me is Twisters. And look, I understand your concern with Twisters. No Bill Paxton because he passed. No Helen Hunt. No original cast member that I'm aware of is returning for this sequel. But it does have Glenn Powell in it, and if you don't know who that is, he was in Top Gun Maverick. He was the cocky, arrogant character. I
Oh,
really
that guy.
liked him. Yeah, I really liked him, and he did a movie with Jonathan Majors last year, I think, or the year before. Um,
The
it
plane
wasn't,
movie.
yeah, the plane movie. I was like, let this guy shine. And he's got that new rom com out right now, but I really like him. I'm hopeful they could really do something special here. Because let's be honest, when we talk about tornado films, there hasn't been a really good one since Twister. Actually, there hasn't been a good one since Twister. So they don't really have a lot of competition.
I would argue and say there hasn't been a good natural disaster film really since Twister. Because Twister was like late '90s, was it? Mid
96.
'90s, '96.
Mm-hmm.
I think Armageddon was 93,
8,
94,
98.
98. That was okay. But yeah, I did like that one volcano film, not Dante's Peak, but the one
Volcano.
that had, yeah, Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones. I like
Yeah.
that one. So there has been some, but it's Twister, I can't name one
You named all of them in the
tornado.
90s, though. There hasn't, you haven't named
See,
anything that's
90s
in it.
90s been killing it. 90s was killing it.
Yeah, this
But
is like a 90s themed. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I originally wasn't when I heard that Helen Hunt wasn't coming back. I was like, well, what are they going to do? How are they going to call it a sequel without anybody actually coming back? But look, I saw that Glenn Powell was going to be in it. It's like I like him.
mhm,
If they do a real gritty story like the first one, it can be pulled off. I'm not saying it's going to be Twister. I would
mhm.
never. It's going to be compared to Twister, but like I said, it doesn't have a lot of competition when you're going up against
Yeah,
other tornado films.
this is true. This is true.
This could be very subpar and it'd be still the second best tornado movie of all time.
Mhm.
So, but I'm hopeful and I think it's going to be pretty good, but I'm not expecting the first movie.
What
But I'm
number was that
hopeful.
for you?
Number 8. Number 7 is a remake, I think. If we call The Invisible Man a remake, we got to call this a remake or a reboot. Wolfman. Lee Wannell is directing this. It's
Oh, oh wow! I didn't know
yeah,
this was a thing. This
yeah.
would have been on my list.
Ryan Gosling was supposed to play the Wolfman, but he dropped out. I don't know who's playing the Wolfman. It's a completely different story, which I think is a great thing
Mhm.
because the Invisible Man was completely different and set in today's time, which the Wolfman's going to be set in today's time.
Yeah,
So
I think it had been distracting with Ryan Gosling as the Wolfman. Honestly, uh, I think that it'd be kind of cool to. I don't know. I just watched Baby Driver again. I think that guy would be excellent as maybe the Wolfman um, character.
yeah,
But yeah, but
yeah,
yeah, no.
I'm really looking forward to this though, mainly because of Lee's directing it, and I was so impressed with him in Invisible Man. That was both our number one pick movie of the year that year. So
Yeah.
I have high hopes for this.
If I knew that was coming, if I knew that was a thing, man, I would have had it on the list. Um, Number 6 for me, and this would have been probably removed or further up because of that movie, honestly. And I would say even Gladiator too. If I knew Denzel was, I would have probably brought it down. But Ghostbuster Frozen Empire. Um, I thought go. I liked the last film. Uh, you know, but I thought I'm kind of bittersweet because I thought it was a great send off to, if anything, to Harold Ramis.
It was.
It's more like a great send off to Harold Ramis, and they said that we can go on and do more Ghostbuster stuff. I love the idea if they. I would love it rather if it's the older Ghostbusters. I don't know if it is, but if it's the older Ghostbusters, kind of recruiting younger Ghostbusters into the fray to take over the role. Uh, but
It doesn't
uh,
look like that's what the story is, but
yeah, I
you
don't
never
know.
know.
But I think that'd be kind of cool to see. I've always loved the Ghostbusters, um, but I think that it can go either way. You know, the last one I thought did an excellent job, maybe because I'm a mark for Harold Ramis, and I love that they pay such respect to that man
Yeah,
with
they
that
really
film.
did. They really did.
Number five for me is I'm curious to see how they do it, what they do with it, and I love the casting. So it's The Crow. Uh,
Oh,
with,
I forgot all about it.
with Bill Skarsgård
Oh
taking over
man,
the mantle from Brandon Lee. So it'd be curious to see.
man.
Uh, I would love to see how they do that, and he's perfect casting for that character. Uh,
I
I
mean,
think it's gonna be good, man. I like Bill Skarsgård. I think that not just his Pennywise, but everything I've really seen him in, he's done a
yeah,
really good job.
he's a really good. He comes from a great acting family, so
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, if I had known that was coming out this year, that'd been my number one film. The Crow is my favorite comic book adaptation. I love Brandon Lee in that movie. I just love that movie. I love that story, and yeah, it would have been my number one movie. I completely forgot that was even. I mean, I knew it was getting made, but I thought it was 2025. Really, I had no idea it was this year.
Yeah,
Didn't see it.
as far as I saw, it's supposed to be this year. Uh, and I can't say that without mentioning, of course, Eddie Furlong was in one of Edward Furlong. I think he's in one of them.
Third one, I
Um,
think. I think he was in the
yeah,
third one.
and then there was it Mark Dukakis? Did he take over the role at one point?
He took over it. He also did a TV show. I never
Yeah,
saw the show, but
I thought the one with Mark Dukakis was okay. I think that they try to replace Brandon Lee the most, but and it's hard
yeah,
to
every
do.
film tried to
Uh,
recycle that character of Eric Draven, and they just none of them was able to. It was like I don't know. It was a perfect storm. That movie was just perfect.
It was,
You know,
and and I remember literally really mourning the loss of Brandon Lee.
yeah, it was
Honestly,
shocking.
like back then, because he was. I loved him in. I think it's called Rapid Fire. I think
Yep,
that's what the movie was. My first real introduction to him was in that movie, and to me, it's still one of my favorite '90s like type of little action films. That's not like a huge film, but it was fun.
it was fun.
Um,
Yeah, that
and,
was like
and
his first big American film.
yeah, and
Then he got The
so
Crow.
yeah, and his death was unfortunate, and I'm glad that. Well, I can't say that they have. For the most part, they have put safety things into play, but unfortunately, we know with with
Alec
what's
Baldwin,
in Alec Baldwin that accidents still happen.
and that
And
movie
that's
got finished, and it's coming out this year.
yeah, I would be. I think that I wouldn't release it, but if you do release it for some reason, I think that all proceeds to that movie honestly should go to the family of the one that lost their life, because or a portion of it should go to a great portion of it should go to that family, because that cinematographer uh, lost their life, uh,
Yeah,
and that was of negligence because of a
yeah.
negligent thing.
I
And you
was
don't, and I don't blame Baldwin in the sense of you don't hand an actor a live gun without make
well.
sure that
I'm not saying I blame him, but he's more than an actor on that. He's a producer too.
oh well then yeah well still and if he and in that case if he cut corners
Yeah,
to make yeah if that's the case then he should be held accountable
And a
It's
lot
not
of people
bad.
don't think he's truly sorry for what happened, just how he acted afterwards. And
Hmm.
he should, in my opinion, the only reason I was interested in the movie because of Jensen Ackles was supposed to be
Hmm.
in it, but after all that happened, he left. So I don't really have an interest in the movie. I don't think it should have been finished, but
Yeah, yeah.
Alec
It's not.
Baldwin, may I think he probably needs it just
Yeah,
after it. But then again, I'm like, do you really want this kind of attention?
yeah. I
People,
wouldn't. It just it's poor taste. Now with The Crow, uh, them finishing the film, I think that it was to pay tribute to Brandon
Brandon,
Lee.
yeah,
And so, and I don't blame for at all. Do I blame the actor that was holding the gun that went off? I think it's the same. I think it's not the guy from the Warriors, but it was I, I forget what actor it is. He's been in other things, but
wasn't he
yeah,
in Nope?
he might have been.
Is
Oh
that the
yeah,
same
it might
actor?
have been. I think it was him. I
Yeah,
might be wrong, but anyway, uh, I don't blame him because it's the prop guy's fault for not checking to make sure that that fake one that whatever is
yeah.
removed and the chamber was clear and everything. Uh, it's so yeah, but I would love to see what they do with the crow. Number four, and then I'll kick it back over to you. Is Beetlejuice 2. Uh, I think that Michael Keaton, just to see him again is
Yeah,
Beetlejuice, and then you have which I'm not too thrilled with uh what's her name, the young lady,
Jenna Ortega.
Jenna Ortega, because I think she's start honestly because of Wednesday and stuff, she might start getting more typecast in these type of roles, but it'd be
Uh,
interesting to see her in this film.
I
And
like
then
her.
I think Winona is returning maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
I like her a lot, but I think she's getting a little too big headed.
yeah.
Because
Well, her leaving Scream was uncalled for. Just because your friend gets fired, that's dumb.
well,
Uh,
that's not even the reason. The reason's
uh,
money. She's pulling Nev Campbell, and she's like 18, 19 years old pulling that. That's ego, and and then they throw her in
because she
Beetlejuice.
knows that she
Oh yeah,
knows
she
that
knows
she's
she's big.
yeah.
So on one hand, I don't blame her, but on the other hand, she's kind of giving me the impression that she's kind of like that actress from Stranger Things.
I will say this about like Jamie Lee Curtis. Um, and I say this because Jamie Lee Curtis between I'm sorry, Halloween till where she kind of like she blew up between Halloween and I would say even Halloween. Um, was it Halloween 3? Was it the season of the witch? Halloween
Yeah,
3.
yeah,
At that point, she had other things that came out like Trading Places, things like that that kind of make elevated her in maybe even Fish Call Wine. I'm not sure, but she had some other things, but she still was humble enough to still come back and do voice work for these films, and it's not like, oh no, you got to pay me this, this, and this, or So I give
yeah,
her props in that. And Jamie Lee Curtis, in my opinion, which I'm not a huge fan of now because of the way I heard that she treated some people, but but I think I give her props as far as her the way that she knows her roots, and
yeah.
if it wasn't for it wasn't you didn't blow up because yeah, I guess Wednesday got kind of made you up there, but your fans knew you
From Scream.
from Scream, and
Yep.
just like and I can see, yeah, pay Nev because she's been the face of this franchise the whole
Yeah.
time, so pay her. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So I like Jenna Ortega. I think she's a good actress. I haven't seen Wednesday, but I think she get. I know why she's been cast in Beetlejuice too. They want to
Hmm.
make sure it's a hit. And they know she's really big right now. I get it, but she's going to take away time from Winona Ryder.
Hmm.
She's got to. I mean, and that's an original star. And I just you're not going to take anything away from Beetlejuice because that's he is the movie.
Michael
He's the
Michael's gonna eat. Michael's gonna eat.
yeah, but I didn't put it on my list. It was originally on my list, but I didn't put I marked it off because I'm concerned for two reasons. I'm concerned Jenna is going to take up too much screen time, and I'm also concerned, can Tim Burton do this again?
Hmm.
Can he live up to the hype on this one? Because this is a really big movie for them. They've been talked
Mm-hmm.
about for at least 30 years. I mean, I have no concerns when it comes to Michael Keaton living up to Beetlejuice. He's going to be great. But I do have concerns when it comes to the director and how much screen time he's going to give Jenna Ortega over Winona Ryder.
Yeah, and that's the only thing. Yeah, Burton has fell off. At one point, Burton could do no wrong, but Burton fell off for two reasons: repetitively casting
Johnny
Johnny Depp,
and
repetitively Helen Bonaparte.
yeah,
Yeah, that's where he fell off, man. If he had not have done that, then I don't know. He was literally he could write his own check, man. He could do like Batman. He blew up. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Your number
and six. You mentioned it earlier. The Furiosa, is that what it's called? Mad Max.
Furiosa.
Furiosa. Okay, I'm I'm excited for this, even though we don't get a Mad Max in the movie. I'm just curious. I love the world that he
Mhm.
created more so in Fury Road. Those mixture of characters, that world he set up, because it looks a lot different from the original trilogy. It looks more exciting. It's just it's bigger. It's louder. I love the dude with the guitar. I love it. I can't wait to see what he does here. And that's big because you don't even have your main character in this movie.
Mhm.
It's big to be excited for this, but I'm really am excited. Number 5 for me, this is going to be a true test for Will Smith in general, because he hasn't made a movie that's went to theaters since The Slap. Is the audience going to show up? Don't know. I'm going to show up because I love the franchise. But here's one thing I do hope: Martin Lawrence gets a bigger role this time. And I saw a picture of him recently. He's in shape, so I'm hoping Bad Boys 4 is more of a team effort than Will still in the spotlight from Martin.
Yeah. My biggest thing about Bad Boys is I hate that they killed off
Yeah,
Joey
the captain.
Pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I wish that I thought that was a terrible. I know they did it because they needed to show like say, hey, this is real. This is what's going to happen. Uh, but then like the twist of it's his son. Yeah, I hated that. Uh, and I hate it. I just didn't like the last Bad Boy movies. But yeah, I'll be curious to see what they do
It
with
is going to be
this.
a test, though, to Will Smith, though. Is the audience going to
Mhm.
show up? Because, I mean,
I agree.
it's smart on his end to come back into theatrical with this. It's very smart because that's
Yeah, I
what
think that they
people.
may show up. I think they'll show up. Honestly,
But if it was something else, I don't think they would. So
especially if it's
this,
a summer movie, maybe if it
I
comes
think,
out like that.
I think it's going to come out in like July. I do. I think that's what I saw. But number 4 is a 2-in-1 kind of a situation. It's actually supposed to be a 4-part series. Horizon, an American saga. It's the new Kevin Costner Western saga. Uh, Comes out in March or April. Then part 2 comes out later that summer. This is what he left Yellowstone for initially. So I'm curious though. Kevin Costner Western. He's a Western legend. So I don't.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah,
I don't think this was a. I don't think putting it in theaters is smart. But
no,
I mean,
it's an audience. He has a Western movie has an elderly audience.
yes,
No offense, but it does. It just like I don't think the young people will gravitate to it as much. I'm not saying I like westerns, but I don't think that like a lot of
yeah.
it. I don't know how well it would do in theaters.
I think the last one that did really well was True Grit,
It
which
was excellent, excellent movie.
but you were making a John Wayne film then, and it is Kevin Costner. He may can pull it off. I'm
Hmm.
curious to see it just because it's him, and it's a
Hmm.
Western saga. But I think I would have went to streaming with this.
I
But
agree. Paramount Plus, no, Peacock.
something,
Yeah,
something like that. I mean, I think it would have done very well because aging stars do more business on streaming platforms.
I
I
agree.
mean,
I agree.
yeah. So
Yeah, look at and I haven't seen Tulsa King, the King of Tulsa or whatever, but I
but
think
it did
Sly,
did well.
yeah, I think Sly did well with it.
And
Um,
Fubar was Arnold's first hit since he came back.
I haven't seen it yet. I need to watch it. Or
I
maybe I
liked it.
don't. Okay.
I liked it. I liked it. I liked it. It's
But
not the
you're
best.
Mark for Arnold.
I am a mark for Arnold, but it's I had fun with it. Like I'm looking
Okay.
forward to season 2. But yeah,
Uh,
all right.
where you at now? Is that it?
We're top 3.
Top
How
three. All right.
how we doing this?
We're
One
gonna
at
do
a
it
time.
one at a time. One at a
Okay.
time.
All right.
All right. Number three for me, um, is one that I didn't know was happening, but now that I know, and I seen the poster wise at the theater, and I was like, okay. And I did see a little snippet of a trailer, and I was like, okay, I want to see this. It is Bob Marley, One Love.
That's
Uh,
gonna be a
the
great movie. It was originally on
the
my list, but I had to cut it.
the biopic of Bob Marley. Bob was a tremendous musician, and I would argue revolutionary, uh, and for Jamaica,
Yeah.
and I think that the guy that they got to play him is an excellent actor. He played Malcolm X in that. Remember that movie that one night in Miami
Yeah.
or something like that. He
Yeah.
played Malcolm in that. He was great in that. He. I think he actually pops up in the Red Dawn. Was he not in Red Dawn? Maybe it's not him. It might not be him for Red Dawn. It might not be him
The
in Red Dawn.
remake Red Dawn?
Not Red Dawn. I'm thinking about Rebel Moon. It might not be him. The leader of the rebels that the end of the movie. It might
Oh
not
no,
be
no, no,
him.
no, 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 no. That's not
It
him.
might not be him. But anyway, yeah, this guy he's a good actor. So I'm curious to see him doing this. Let me see. There's a comment. Uh, Andy Harden, and we're back. I know you were gone. Um, uh, and anyway, hey Andy. Um, Dune 2 is number 2 for me.
I thought we were
Uh,
doing this one at a time there.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
Number 3 for me. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Man, I went back and forth on these top 3. Like I was like, man, and I didn't look at a trailer for Kingdom of Planet of the Apes. I don't need to. I it's a new Planet of the Apes movie. I'm excited. I love all 3 of the modern Planet of the Apes films. So I know we don't have Caesar, but you still have these Planet of the Apes, and
Mhm.
I don't know what's happening. It's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I
You're
just give it
there.
to me. I'm there. I don't need to know what the story is. I'm already invested by the prior 3, so I'm there.
Okay. Number 2 for me, as I said, Dune 2. You already mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
We spoke about it pretty much. No need to rehash. I'm there for Batista, to be honest. And then Austin Butler. I love to see him in this. I didn't know he was going to be in this one. So
Florence Pugh's
and
also in it. Give her a
my
shout
girl
out.
Florence, she's killing it. Yeah, man. I'm a huge mark for Florence Pugh. So I'm glad to see her. She's the best. She's really no, I can't say she's the best part of a good person, but she was her and Morgan
Oh man.
perfect together
You
in that
know,
movie.
I could see her getting a nod for that,
Hmm.
but what I really hope for is Morgan gets something.
I agree. Give it to Morgan. He's up in age. This is his. This is he deserves this
He
for
does. He
his
does.
stellar
And
career.
he did a better job than Tommy did in the burial. Tommy was good. Don't get me wrong, but more this felt like old school Morgan Freeman.
Hmm.
This felt like Lean on Me, The Shawshank Redemption, Morgan Freeman, which we have not seen in at least a decade.
Yeah, yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't phone this in. He did not phone
No,
this in. He had to dig deep for this character.
yeah,
Um, but all right, go to your number two.
yeah. Aaron was gonna go number one again. All right, like I said, I battled with this, but this is my number two. It's supposed to come out around Christmas. I hope it doesn't get pushed back. It's The Karate Kid. Um, Ralph Macchio is returning for a new movie with Jackie Chan. I don't know anything else other than that, but Danielson in a new movie for Karate Kid gets me there.
And
Uh,
is Ralph is Jackie gonna be the same character from the Karate
eh,
Kid film?
yeah, there's
Hey,
speculation that he may pop in on Cobra Kai to set this up. So I feel you have to.
yeah,
I mean, you got to set something up to do it. It's all supposed to be connected. So it makes me
I'm
wonder
I'm
if
I'm, I'm
Johnny's
there
going to
for it.
pop into this movie. But I'm really excited. I'm more excited for Ralph. I mean, to revisit not just the character, but another movie. Something he said he would never do after the third one. So I'm
Yep.
I'm really excited.
All right, number one for me.
Yep.
Of course, you mentioned it. I gotta put it there. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is my number one film because, like you said, I absolutely love the remake of this franchise
Yeah.
that they've done, and it just was like so good. And I know you're a madman because you went back and watched all the original Planet of the Apes,
And they're good.
and they're good. Yeah,
They
yeah.
are. They are.
It,
I do like the modern ones better, but those originals are really good too. I
did you
was
go back to
impressed.
the Tim Burton as well, or did you just like skip over that?
I, you know, I've seen it twice. That's too many. That's twice as many as I should have. Uh, I don't like it. I didn't like Mark Wahlberg in that movie. Yeah, the originals are on another level when you compare it to Tim Burton's version. Everything's on a different
Mhm.
level when you compare it to Tim
Yeah,
Burton's. And that movie
yeah,
was not good. But
yeah. No,
yeah, I watched it twice though, so you know, I believe it's twice as many, twice as too much.
yeah,
It's
I
just
agree.
not, it's not good. But that's your number one. I'm
Number
not,
one is Planet Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes
I'm
because,
not
like,
surprised. I'm
yeah,
really
it's
not.
I love I loved it, man, and I thought it looked great. I thought it was a compelling story, compelling characters in the apes. Yeah, so I'm curious to see where it goes with it.
My number one is not going to be a shocker to anybody that knows me. Kong X, I mean, I said it wrong. Godzilla X Kong, the new empire. And I'm going to tell you why I did choose it as number one.
Okay.
Okay, here's the reason. I agree with you. The trailer doesn't really sell the movie all that well. But one thing I did catch in this trailer, there's a new threat that Kong apparently can't beat without teaming up with Godzilla. But what I liked about this trailer is it's more focused on King Kong. He's finally getting some love because I feel like he wasn't the focal point in
Kong got
Kong Kong versus
Kong,
Godzilla.
Kong got his butt whooped in that movie, and that's terrible. That's tragic.
He got some licks in,
I'm a
but
Kong guy.
I am too. But I love the fact that this feels more of a Kong movie than a Godzilla
Hmm.
because I felt like he was kind of getting pushed to the side and they were just focusing on Godzilla more than they were him. And I feel Kong is just as big as Godzilla, you know. But I'm really looking forward to this. I have paid attention to the trailer, but I do agree that the trailer really didn't sell this movie the way it should have. It didn't get me more hyped. I was like, oh, they didn't do a good job.
Yeah,
But I know what to expect here, so I don't really need a trailer to get me hyped for this movie. And
yeah.
if you, I love Skull Island. That's when I really became a big fan of this universe was Skull Island. Not that Godzilla wasn't good; it was fine, but I had such a great time with Skull Island
Hmm.
when that movie came out. I felt like a kid in a candy store with that movie. I felt like a little kid watching a movie on the cinema. I hadn't felt like that in forever before that moment. So I'm really excited about this movie.
All right. Well, that is our 30 most anticipated movies of 2024. Brandon, what's up next for us? What are we doing next week?
Oh yeah, I probably should have thought about that.
You gonna let me
uh,
know?
I'll let you know because I was focused on the list here. I really didn't think about what to review.
Okay, it works.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Is there any? Well, what's next? That'll be the 11th. It won't be coming out yet. You want
What?
to pick, and I'll pick Lift the following week if we have a
Uh,
week that week.
yeah.
We have an episode that
What
week.
is? Give me a moment. Let me see. I'm trying to see what's coming out.
Well, I'll tell
Um,
you what. Are you seeing Night Swim this weekend or
yeah, I would
before
like.
Thursday?
Yeah, I like to see it. I like to see it this weekend. So let's do Nice Win.
Okay. All
We'll
right.
kick off 2024 with Nice Win.
I'm trying to help you out. Keep your little citizenship with
Thank you. I
the
appreciate it.
Critics Association.
All right, so Night Swim will be the movie that we review next week, and then we'll go from there. Brandon, what do you want the people to do?
If you like this and want to see more, click that like, click that subscribe button, and share. Get more attention
Yeah,
to the Markout Movie Podcast.
that's right. And we thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I hope everybody's having a great New Year so far. I don't know your resolutions. Hopefully, you're keeping them. I don't know. It's not up to me. It's up to you. But Brandon, we thank you for being here, as you always are, my dude. Uh, what I do? I did something wrong. Anyway, we thank you for tuning
Switch.
in. I got it back. And I'm trying to get back to where we should be. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Aaron Whitlow,
Brandon Spivey.
thanks for marking out with us on the Mark Out Movie Podcast.